If you're here, it means you've caught a glimpse, or maybe more of the much-discussed, widely speculated, and now leaked trailer for the next big thing. Avengers Doomsday versus X-Men. It's a moment as explosive in fan culture as the films themselves promise to be. And yet, beneath the surface of that adrenaline rush, you might be feeling more than just excitement. You might be grappling with what this means for the stories you hold dear, the characters you relate to, and the worlds you've journeyed with for years. I want to tell you what to think about the leak or the trailer. Instead, I want to help you see what is already happening inside you, the deeper currents stirred by this moment. Because if you're drawn here, something in you is shifting. Maybe it is the tension of conflicting alliances, the pain of lost certainties, or the haunting question of identity. Let us begin by acknowledging the sheer magnitude of this collision. Avengers and X-Men have long existed in parallel mythologies, parallel universes, each with their own themes, their own heroes, and their own philosophical dilemmas. The Avengers embody collective strength, unity against overwhelming odds. The X-Men speak of difference, marginalization, and the struggle for acceptance. When these two iconic forces meet in a doomsday scenario, it's not just a battle on screen, it's an exploration of ideas wrestling beneath the surface. Think for a moment about your own internal doomsday. What feels like the ultimate battle raging in your mind and heart? Is it a sense of divided loyalty to who you were and who you feel pressure to become? Is it the war between hope and cynicism, between embracing change or resisting it? Now, the initial assumption might be, this trailer is just hype. Just another blockbuster spectacle designed to entertain. But is that all? It curious how something as commercial as a superhero trailer can stir such deep emotional responses? Could it be that you're not just a passive viewer, but an active participant in a shared mythology that mirrors your own struggles for meaning and transformation? Ask yourself, what if the characters you see clashing on screen are reflections of parts of yourself in conflict? The Avengers' discipline and duty against the X-Men's fierce independence and defiance. What if the fight is less about them and more about reconciling those forces within you? The trailer leak itself, the unauthorized glimpse, the broken seal of secrecy, is a symbol. A reminder that beneath any polished facade lies vulnerability, chaos, and the unpredictable. How does it feel to witness a secret unravel? Is there fear of the unknown, or is there a thrill in the mystery exposed? Consider this. The Doomsday scenario is more than a simple fight for survival. It's a metaphor for the crises we face when everything we hold stable begins to fracture. It's an invitation to confront the shadow, those parts of ourselves and our collective psyche that we often avoid. SFX, rumbling_thunder. To notice how the trailer uses light and darkness. The flicker of hope amid devastation. The interplay of destruction and resilience. What does that flicker say to you? Can you find your own amber of hope in times when it feels like everything is falling apart? And the characters who stands out to you in this leaked glimpse? The brooding intensity of Wolverine or the calm resolve of Captain America? The raw power of Storm or the strategic mind of Iron Man? Each embodies archetypal energies. How do these archetypes resonate with where you are personally? Is there courage you need to reclaim? Compassion to awaken? Or a fierceness you've suppressed? If you take a step back, you might see the trailer not as a finished story, but as a puzzle piece. Something open-ended. Something asking you to fill in the gaps with your own narrative. What stories do you bring into this imagery? What endings do you hope for? What new beginnings? And here's another irony worth your attention. The very act of leaking, of breaking the rules, parallels the central conflict on screen. Sometimes transformation requires rupture, chaos disrupting order. Are you clinging to safety or willing to embrace the unknown for growth? SFX, wind_whispering. 3 there S, also the question of allegiance, an emotional tug of war. Which side do you root for? The Avengers with their idealism? The X-Men with their insurgent spirit? Or perhaps neither fully? What if the real story lies between the binaries you've been taught to choose from? In this space between divisions, where tensions dissolve and boundaries blur, lies opportunity. To question who has the right narrative. To ask whose story is being told and whose might be missing. Could you belong to more than one story at once? This makes the leaked trailer a kind of mirror, showing us not just fictional heroes in conflict, but the fractured nature of identity itself, a fluid, evolving dance between many selves. So what if the Doomsday is not an end, but a threshold? A necessary ending to something old, so that something new can take shape? What do you need to let go of right now to step through your own threshold? SFX, heartbeat_slow. 3. Finally, know this. The story you will live beyond this moment is still unwritten. The trailer fragment. A promise is only as powerful as the meaning you carve from it in your solitude. If you're watching this, it's because deep inside you, a question lingers. If the world as I know it crumbles, who am I willing to become? How does your inner Avengers or your inner X-Men rise when faced with your personal doomsday? The answer, perhaps, lies in the spaces between the heroes, the fights, and the ruins. In the quiet determination to find unity within fragmentation. So, I leave you with this. When the doomsday comes within or beyond, you will not just witness the end of worlds. You will witness the birth of something radically, beautifully new. What do you imagine that new world to be? SFX, fading_wind. For it is tempting to see the trailer leak as just a moment of chaos, a disruption in how stories are traditionally unveiled. But maybe that is precisely why it feels so charged, so electric. Because sometimes, the boundaries between order and disorder blur, revealing truths that polished marketing can't touch. That leak is a fracture in the cinematic glass, an opening where uncertainty seeps in and invites you to question not just the story on screen, but the stories you tell yourself. What if this leak, accidental or not, is a metaphor for your own hidden fears, fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of losing control? How do you respond when the linear narrative you expect suddenly falls apart? Do you resist? Do you surrender? Or do you lean into the ambiguity and explore what might emerge from the cracks? The Doomsday theme itself carries a strange paradox. It's necessarily an ending, yet also a beginning. In the Marvel and X-Men mythologies, Doomsday moments are the crucibles where heroes are tested and reshaped. What if your own personal Doomsday moments are just that places not of final destruction, but of crucial transformation? How often do moments of crisis reveal untapped strength, unexpected alliances, or inner qualities you never knew you possessed? SFX, sharp_wind. To look closely at the factions, the Avengers and the X-Men. Each represents a philosophy, a way of being in the world. The Avengers, guardians of a vision, sometimes forced to act as protectors of order. The X-Men, outsiders, born into difference, fighting to be recognized, insisting on their right to exist as they are. When these worlds collide, it's a powerful allegory for the balance of integration within ourselves. Pause here for a moment. How do you relate to these perspectives? Do you lean more towards the order and responsibility of the Avengers, or the fierce individuality and rebellion of the X-Men? Or could it be that your soul harbors influences from both, struggling to find harmony? This internal tension mirrors the epic struggle we see on screen. And here is something to notice. The leaked trailer doesn't just pit heroes against villains. It shows heroes against each other. That's more than spectacle. It's a fundamental human condition, the fracturing of community. The painful choices when values collide, and the cost of division. Have you ever felt torn between loyalties or ideals the way this trailer animates it? Sometimes the hardest battles are internal, not external. When parts of yourself resist others, when identity feels fragmented. The X-Men's saga resonates because it reflects experiences of exclusion, difference, and the longing to belong without losing your authentic self. The Avengers, by contrast, often embody the call to unify, to submerge individual concerns for a greater cause. SFX, heartbeat_pulsing, 3 so. When the trailer teases this doomsday confrontation, it's asking a silent question. How do you reconcile the parts of yourself that demand unity with those that claim individuality? How do you survive a doomsday that is less about external apocalypse and more about internal reckoning? And what about the aftermath the trailer hints at? The ruins and scars left behind. Those aftermath scenes aren't just about destruction. They are images of resilience, recovery, rebirth. They whisper that even in devastation, there's room for new forms to arise. What new patterns in your life might be emerging from a sense of loss or crisis? Notice how the trailer's pacing mirrors emotional rhythms, fast bursts of conflict, followed by slower moments of reflection. This cadence is not accidental. It mirrors the ebb and flow of grief, anger, hope, and acceptance. Watching it, you might find yourself unconsciously sinking to these rhythms. Could it be that you're living your own doomsday moment right now? With this trailer as both backdrop and catalyst, SFX, rising_strings. For another element worth exploring is the role of leadership and trust. In the chaos of doomsday, who steps forward? Who falters? Who unites factions? And who deepens divides? These questions resonate not just in fictional wars, but in the quiet battles we face. Daily decisions about who we trust, how we lead our own inner narratives, and when we surrender control. The presence of familiar faces, heroes we've rooted for over decades, creates an emotional anchor. Their expressions carry weight beyond plot. They carry the collective memories and hopes of millions of fans. When these figures clash, it's not just about physical battles. It's about confronting versions of ourselves that we admire, fear, or question. SFX, distant_explosion. To it's also important to consider the symbolism of the doomsday itself. In many traditions, doomsday brings to mind apocalypse endings, final judgments. But in myth and psychology, apocalypse comes from the Greek apokalypsis, meaning unveiling or disclosure. So, could this trailer's doomsday be less about destruction and more about revelation? What is being unveiled about the characters, about the universe, and about you? I invite you to hold that question lightly, not as a burden to solve, but as an openness to explore. The leak disrupts the expected narrative flow, much like how life's unexpected events jolt us out of complacency. And in those disruptions, opportunities arise to question, to expand our understanding of ourselves and the stories we inhabit. SFX, soft_rain. 3. Consider also how the trailer's visuals craft a sprawling battlefield that's both cosmic and intimate. The destruction scales across cities and skies. Yet the real battles are often focused on a single glance, a whispered word, a small act of defiance or sacrifice. These moments remind us that even in the largest narratives, it is the human, the vulnerable, the personal that carries true weight. What small moments in your life have felt like turning points disguised as chaos? What fleeting acts of courage, spoken or unspoken, have changed the course of your internal story? And who do you imagine will ultimately win? Is victory measured by survival, by moral clarity, by transformation? The trailer leaves this ambiguous, challenging you to question what victory truly means. This uncertainty, a signature tension of the leak, invites you to reflect on your own relationship with ambiguity. Can you hold space for not knowing, for complexity, for paradox? SFX, echoing_heartbeat. For as we move toward the climax of this reflection, remember this. The leaked Avengers Doomsday X-Men trailer is a mirror, a Rorschach test in motion. It doesn't hand you an answer, but offers you the raw material to explore your inner cosmos. The characters' conflicting ideals, the impending catastrophe. The fragile alliances, these are not just cinematic flourishes, but expressions of a timeless human drama. The tension between unity and fragmentation, between fear and courage. between the known and the unknown. So now, if you pause the trailer of your own life, what images emerge? What characters rise into focus? What hidden alliances might you discover within? Look beyond the spectacle. Look into the quiet spaces between explosions, into the eyes of those who fight and falter. That is where the real Doomsday lives and where the real transformation begins. SFX, soft_chimes. 3. The future, just like this story, is not fixed. It is a field of possibility, a dance between light and darkness, where heroes and shadows entwine. And wherever you find yourself on that spectrum, the question remains: how will you step into your own Doomsday, and what will rise from the ashes? Thank you for walking this path of reflection with me. May the story you live be yours to shape with courage, complexity, and heart. SFX, fading under